I see from chimpanzee to chimpanzee. No, you'll never make a monkey out of me. Oh my God, I was wrong. You finally made a monkey.
Yes, we finally made a monkey.
Yes, you finally made a monkey out of me.
You maniacs! You blew the evidence out of proportion! Bad science damned you! It damned you all to hell! Whoa, that was a little bit dramatic. Hi, have you guys ever wondered what if evolution is not true? You know, some people, when I ask that, their brain just shuts off. It goes, la la la, can't hear. I'd plug my other ear, but my other hand is kind of occupied. But they just, they plug their ears, they close their eyes, and they go, evolution's true, evolution's true, evolution's true, and they refuse to think outside their little box. What if evolution's not true? What are the implications of that? So, while you're chewing on that, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. My name's VenomFangX. Welcome to my YouTube channel if this is the first time you're joining us. We like to talk about the evolution creationist controversy because we here believe that God created the heavens and the earth as the Bible says. We believe the Bible is the inspired, inerrant word of the living God, and that evolution theory is one of the greatest and most dangerous lies ever given to mankind. So, we're going to show you here in this video and videos to follow, so stay tuned, that the evolution theory is not based upon scientific evidence, but rather on lies upon lies upon more lies. So we're going to be flipping through textbooks and showing you what the evolutionists are saying and showing you that they're absolutely wrong and ridiculous and they're dishonest. They know what they're saying is not true. It's just, going back to what I said before, they will not entertain the idea that what they're saying is not true because the alternative, which is God created the heavens and earth, scares them too much. It's too big of a concept for many people. So I'm trying to bring you, if you are an evolutionist, I want to bring you outside your comfort zone, and I'm going to show you that what you believe is not only wrong, but that what I'm saying is right. So let's get right into this, starting from the beginning. Charles Darwin went upon the Bugle on the high seas, and he went to the Galapagos Islands, and what did he see there but a bunch of finches? And those finches, he noted, had a whole bunch of different beak sizes. These are called Darwin's finches. You can look them up. So Darwin looked at a whole bunch of finches, and you know what he said? He looked at them and he said, this is amazing. All these finches must share a common ancestor, but they show distinct qualities in their beaks. Each one has a different sized beak. So, for whatever reason, Charles Darwin stipulated that because these finches have different sized beaks, that the bananas and the birds must be interrelated and have a common ancestor. Now, that's a stretch, and I'll tell you why. If I see a bunch of birds with different sized beaks, it reminds me of a different arm size of someone's siblings. Do you have any brothers or sisters? I bet you're probably taller or shorter than them. If you compare your arm size, you might have a different sized arm. So, does that prove that you evolved from an earthworm? No. All that proves is that when people breed, or when animals breed, their offspring come in all shapes and sizes. So, is it possible that God designed life with the ability to create offspring with varying sizes? Yes. So what Darwin saw is not evidence of evolution. It can be equally used as evidence for creation, that God designed the finches with the ability to change the size of their beaks. However, Charles Darwin, in his ludicrous notion, he looked at these beaks and he said, well, this must prove that everything is interrelated. You can see that that is a serious leap of logic, and it's not logic. It's illogical. And yet people believed him because they wanted to believe him because they don't like the alternative. So what we're going to be showing you in this video series is things like that. We're going to show you the leaps of logic, the pure fantasy and imagination of the evolutionists that is incompatible with reality, which is exactly what happened with Darwin's finches. And look them up, Darwin's finches, and read about what these evolutionists are saying, and you will simply laugh. You have to laugh at how ridiculous it is. So,
I also want to talk about some of the philosophical implications. Before this video and the following videos get extremely scientific in nature, I want to just start with philosophical foundations. We're going to talk about, if you contour to the evolutionary worldview, what are the implications for you? How are you going to look at life differently if you believe that? So, evolutionists like to say, this is a purely scientific theory, there is no philosophical ramifications to it, it is not a philosophy. Well, yes, it is, because by believing in evolution, you make certain assumptions, you make certain finalities, consequences. There are consequences to believing it, which changes the way you look at people, the way you look at the world, the way you look at the purpose and reason to your existence and the existence of your fellow man. So, I want to show you what you do believe if you believe in evolution. Okay, if you believe in evolution, you do not believe that life was created with a purpose or a design by something that created it with a purpose or design or a reason for its existence. So, you'll find many evolutionists say, what is the meaning to life? And they say, I make the meaning for my life. You see, rather than having God tell them what the meaning of life is, they want to make their own meaning. So, if an evolutionist wants to live a total life of debauchery and immorality, of murder, of thievery, of blasphemy, of whatever they want, they can justify it because in the evolutionary worldview, there are no moral absolutes. How can you determine right from wrong if we evolved from the animal kingdom and the animal kingdom is just a bunch of biological material that came from the earth without design but just by randomness and chance and the laws of physics? You know, if life indeed is the result of the laws of physics without design or purpose or reason, then life has the value of an inanimate object. Just as I can break this CD and no one would shed a tear, I could actually walk around with a sledgehammer and break people's skulls, and if evolution were true, there would be nothing morally wrong about that, because life is as valueless as an inanimate object. That is the philosophical ramification of the evolutionary theory. And I don't believe it's true for a second. And that's why the children today, the kids today, are growing up, doing drugs, and acting they want to act because we're teaching them they came from monkeys. If you tell a child as he's growing up that you are the descendant of an animal, and they start acting like an animal, why are you all surprised? You tell the kids that they're an animal, and they start acting like this. I'm an animal? Okay. So you can see the problem with that. That is the philosophical ramifications of the evolutionary theory. So, without further ado, I just want you guys to know that I used to believe in the evolutionary theory. I remember that even as back as far as being 7 years old, reading about dinosaurs. When I was a kid, you flip through the books, dinosaurs lived billions of years ago, whatever. No, they didn't. The Bible mentions dinosaurs many, many times, which would be impossible if dinosaurs were not contemporary of men. The Bible says God created the dinosaurs in the beginning and that they largely went extinct during a worldwide flood about 4,400 years ago. You guys ever heard the story of Noah's Ark? And that's why we find dinosaurs buried in the mud as fossils with their entire skeleton structures intact, because there was a worldwide flood, which is how they ended up buried in the ground. So that's a quick explanation for the dinosaurs. We'll talk more about dinosaurs later. So I used to believe in the evolutionary theory, and I'll tell you what kind of pulled me out of it. I believed it for pretty much my whole life, like I said, since I was 7. I'm 23 now, and I stopped believing in it when I was about 21 after I watched these creationist videos, which a lot of my material is based upon. So I just want to quickly link to you. If you guys find this topic interesting and would like to study it in a lot more depth than I can offer you in a 10-minute video, on the side of this video will be a link to freehovind.com, which will have a 14-hour-long seminar. That's right, 14 hours long, which will literally go through the textbooks that you've probably seen in your schools when you were raised in school, and it'll disprove absolutely everything that the evolutionists have been saying for years. You know, there are things that they say in these textbooks. They use examples that have been disproven for over 100 years, but they've never replaced them because they don't like the alternative, as I've said before. You know, if I told you that someone once kissed a frog and it turned into a prince, you would tell me that, it's a fairy tale. But if I said that a frog turned into a prince over billions of years, that's modern science. You know, I used to not even see it, but now I see it very clearly. It is absolutely ridiculous. You know, scientists are getting wise to this. There is an enormous creationist movement now. The evolutionists are trying to censor it. As the scientists with the invention of the microscope look at life under the microscope, we notice that even the simplest life is simply not simple. Calling life simple is an understatement to the extreme. The simplest life is more complex than a space shuttle or the camera that I'm using. It has intricate parts, and they're all working together, and they're all placed within any given organism or cell in a specific way as to work together in order to function. So not only would the parts themselves have to form by themselves, they would also have to assemble in their correct assembly and functionality in order to work, which is absolutely impossible without an intelligent designer. Well, this is the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Please check out those videos on the side of this video for a full presentation. And, you know, thanks for watching, guys. God bless. Jesus Christ is Lord. He will be returning shortly, and I pray that you guys get saved. If you want to get saved, watch my other videos, which will tell you how to do it. God bless. Take care.